refletir tombai, Rua das Alabardas, refletir tombai, Street of the Halberds. Imagine my surprise when I walked down Rua das Alabardas. Two sailors were walking with swords, and it took me back, back in time to another space, oh space, oh space. Two sailors sailing away with a sword in their hands, taking me back in time. Back to a time I once belonged. Back in that party with a sailor suit. Back then. Oh yeah, back then. Rua das Alabardas took me out the way. Took you back to that spot with a halberd sword where I wanna sailing. Sailing away today. Sailing.
Okay, so this is called Alabardas, and this is this little alley right in here. I don't think I filmed in here in quite a while that I recall, but we're gonna walk down and label it accordingly. There's some kind of cool stuff going on in here, like this right here. Anyways, we're gonna be walking down this way and we'll see where it goes exactly. And we're starting in this other area right here. Let's kind of give you a brief explanation, but I filmed another street recently called Barao Street, and Barao Street was right here. And then I filmed another one down that way called Praia do Manduso, which is near this São Lourenço marketplace right there. So that's this marketplace for this whole community, St. Lawrence. This is Barao, where a baron had a nice house that would have overlooked the ocean. I think that's a factory, that green one, I think. And then this one goes up to São Lourenço's church. And then this one is a little bit of a street, kind of in the middle of it all, called, there's a nice mirror, the traffic, Alabardas. So let's walk down it. Let's just put this up on the map first. So you heard the music. The music was kind of interesting. I'm going to give you a little bit of history about this one. So first off, I looked up the Portuguese word. The Portuguese word is like a halberd in English, Alabardas. And I looked up, you can see behind me, you can see that I looked up the word and I got this kind of sword, which is kind of like a medieval sword, but it's a very strong Portuguese word. It's also an English word when you translate it. And then I put the Chinese one also into an AI program to see what that meant, and it came up with this one, which is like sailors. So which makes sense because this is right on the ocean anyways. So the Chinese name kind of has a sailor's reference. The Portuguese has a alabarda or halberd sword kind of reference. So that's why in the music video you could see little images of sailors with swords, and I had a mix. I told AI to create some Portuguese looking ones and some Chinese looking ones. So that's what those images were too, just kind of playing around with the language of this name of the street. So anyways, we're going to be walking down the street and we're going to be leaving Alabardas. So the images were throughout this little area, kind of a linear path going one direction, but I just kept going because Alabardas is kind of a small street. So I kind of doubled it so I can give you an idea of the location of it. Plus there's some really cool stuff in this area too. So anyways, we're going to do the walk and talk where I'm going to walk through and I'm going to show you Seis Caixas, Illusion, Patio de Illusion, all kinds of cool stuff. Let's just get into it before we waste your time, and because I know you want to be transported back into the streets of Macau. Pum. Okay, so there's Alabardas right there. So we're going to be walking down that way. So this is kind of the St. Lawrence's neighborhood. So there's a St. Lawrence church that's kind of up the hill. I don't think we're going to be going by it, but it's up there. And then down this way is St. Lawrence's San Lorenzo Mercado. So that's like a like a wet market. You can buy fruits and vegetables. That whole street is actually called Hua Street of the beach Praia do Manduco. So it's like the street of the beach of Manduco Beach Street would be the translation. So there's so San Lorenzo would have been this whole neighborhood in this area. This is such an interesting looking building. So we're going to be going down that street, but before we do, somebody right there, so I'm not going to go down. I would have otherwise. Okay, but it's kind of interesting because here's another space. So the space on this side of the building and this side of the building, there was something that was torn down because you can see the rooftop here and there, and then there's almost no windows in this whole space. So that actually kind of tells us a little bit about the history. And now it's used as a parking lot. But yeah, kind of cool. So there's just this little isolated building right here between the two, which is also covered up and blocked up and bolted shut with locks. So this is all that remains in this little space right there. But it's kind of interesting. Okay, so we're gonna walk down further. We'll walk across again. But it's kind of interesting because you can see these little alleys in there. So there's apartments here and apartments here and apartments over there. So they all have different entrances. We'll see if there's an entrance on this street or not. Alabardas. So this kind of looks like, could be like like big long windows, could be maybe they're different apartments. Okay. About a workshop thing there. Okay, so we're gonna keep on going down. And I think this Alabardas, I think it's gonna be ending. So I have filmed in here quite a few other times. The street, this building, it's like right here. Kind of interesting. So that's actually it for Alabardas. It's kind of short. So because it's so short, I'm going to fill in the gap a little bit and show a few more. So that's this Alabardas street right here. Pretty cool looking street. And then down this way it goes down to Praia do Manduco, which is also where San Lorenzo Market is at. And then it's called Eugenio Goncalves right there. So that's the name of this little alley right there. It goes all the way down. So, okay. So we're gonna go back up. We just kind of meander down. So that would have been our target street right there. And then we're gonna be going down this way as well. And then this whole street has a lot of history. So I think what I'm going to do is tie into some of the history here, and this is one of them. So this is called Hua George Chinnery. So he is actually a famous watercolorist. So okay, so that was our target street, Hua George Chinnery. George Chinnery was alive 1840s something to 1910 or something like that. So, but predominantly in the 1800s. So he would have been a famous watercolorist, and he would have painted a lot this whole San Lorenzo neighborhood that we're in. And there's also a church that's straight up that way. I think we're going to see it from a different angle. But anyways, that's a street that's named after him. Let's go down a little bit further. So George Chinnery would have attracted a lot of Europeans in particular to capture images of Macau through watercoloring. And then they would have sold those watercolors back to Europe. And that would have been how people would get images of it, you know, before the camera. And then this street right here If you go all the way up, there's in yellow, there's San Lorenzo's church. So this Casa Forte, so straight ahead. But I'm not gonna go up there. But it is kind of important because it does fill in the gap. So this one is this is called Bazarino, which is like a bazaar, marketplace. So this is where our street would have been down, and then this marketplace right here, Marketplace Street, and then it'd go down further. So here's Maria Lucinda Lane, and this would go down to Manduco Beach. And then this one right here is another small little street. I'm gonna go down a little bit further and try to capture this. So we're kind of getting away from our street a little bit, but our street was so small and there's a lot of cool stuff in here, including this little patio de Illusion Courtyard, which I always feel like it maybe had some opium references, but that's in here. They should really do something kind of cool with this. Like this could be a major tourist attraction. But anyways, Lushao Courtyard patio. Then if we keep meandering around a little bit, we'll have the Mate Tigre, the Tiger Kill Lane. It's kind of a cool name. And then we got yet more streets everywhere in here, right? Let's just do one more, and then I'm gonna end the video. It's too long, otherwise. But you're getting an idea of this really historical little area. But this building right here is called the Seish Casas, the 6 houses. And Smirnov, a Russian painter, lived in here when he came during, what year was that? During the World Wars, one of those 2 World Wars. And their family would have lived in here, this Patio das Seis Casas, the 6 homes courtyard. And there's images of him in the doorway. So yeah, this would have some historic value, and some small groups, some tourist groups might come through here as well. But yeah, this is called Seis Casas, 6 homes. And with that note, we're getting too far off from our main street. But the main thing for you to know is there's a lot of cool stuff everywhere in here. I think that's called Lingnan style architecture, kind of common throughout South China. And these courtyards are kind of unique to Macau, I think. Okay, let's end it right there.
Took me back in